No, no. I was thinking, I put everything on tape. Yeah, that's just not gonna do it. Like, the programs, that's this concept. It's a telephone, you don't really make calls with that. Yeah.
Would. So yeah, really big questions. Explain very minimal review quarterly.
Yes.
So basically, we've got the 6-year teams right here that we're displaying the same image. So nothing crazy is going to happen. We're watching 6 different things. They're all going to display the same image. We're going to do 2 rounds of Rorschach tests, blood tests. You're going to have control over it with their viewing everything. So if you want to just click the button right real quick, just to make sure that the slideshow is working. Try that one more time. Cool. We're going to do 2 rounds of this. You're given no problems with flashing lights whatsoever at all. No. Okay. So Silas is after those 2 rounds, he's going to do some live work, which will be creating images on the spot. At that point, we won't need the remote for that portion. There's sort of like rapid fire, whatever you see say. And then after that, we're going to get into the questions. At that point, we have Silas leave the room. It's just you looking at cameras and teams. This is the remote again, same slideshow format, quick in a group. And you can spend as much or as little time on the questions as you feel necessary. Like if one question, like you would bring the story in you, or a topic that's you're passionate about, and you want to spend 5 minutes on it, feel free to. And have a number of questions that are very speak to you. Don't go right after this. It's all up to you. There's about 40 questions. But yeah, aside of that, pretty much all set, and then we can just start on these music tests.
Where are you guys leaving with the projects? Is it?
Series and there's exhibitions. So the interviews once they're all compiled, we go on the YouTube channel or something, and then do an exhibition with ETV, around ETV is like some recreating space and then some like playing interviews on this and stuff.
Yeah. So it should come out 3 interviews per TV, because we're in time 660. Most of the way through. I think you'll probably go around 40 sources or so.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. That's how it happens. It's going to happen, all of a sudden it's over.
Our last year is at the end of June. And then that is just like action organization. Notes, something like what demographics and so we also made sure to factor in time period into it, and how people are going to analyze how people are dealing with different time period. Like right now is like anything when they're serving the next year, you're doing like it's nice out. So I had to shoot in February, so it's like winter, and I would shoot coming out like I said, end of June, so that'll be that's still gonna get us off summer. So like comparing game ranges, race, like time of year, and it's just see how they work. It's also at the end of the day an election year.
Oh, yeah.
That's something between others. But yeah. Any other questions? Besides that, any big questions? Okay. Yeah. What do you see in here?
What do I see there? I'm seeing a room that looks like a long room with mirrors on both sides.
Gotcha. And then what's the zero base?
Okay.
Yeah.
That, I'm standing up and looking down a long stairwell and doors at the bottom of the set of stairs. Inside. I feel like I'm laying on my back looking up at skyscrapers in the city.
You're laying on your back in the city.
Laying on my back in the city,
Yeah.
which I've done before. Not in a long time. It was like, yeah, it's a dirty city. That, it's interesting how it's identical on each screen, but it's also a little bit different on each screen.
Hmm.
Huh. What am I seeing? I think this one, to me, I feel like I'm in a room and there's radiators on two sides and there's a sheet, a couple sheets across a doorway. These are really architectural to me. That again, I feel like I'm in some sort of like cathedral looking up at a ceiling. That's just too dirty to answer. No, I'm just kidding. I do feel like I'm looking at a set of knees though, that are kind of like somebody sitting like that, and I'm looking at them, their heads in the back.
Sort of a birth pose.
Yeah, kinda. That, I feel like I'm looking at kind of a mirrored Anselm Kiefer painting. Yeah. Fields, you know, woods in the back. I feel like I'm in a theater for some reason with this one. Did you guys make these yourselves?
Nick made these.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did.
cool. So you know your source. You
Well,
know all your source material.
Yeah,
That's
I-
kind of cool.
I can discuss it with you after.
Yeah. That looks like a big, weird chandelier to me. Yeah, it's interesting because they are all mirrored, right? But I don't know. That to me looks like I'm looking down the street in like bombed out Beirut, and there's just decayed buildings on either side.
Do you did you ever have like a history in architecture at all? Just asking because
My
you've seen a
work
lot
is
of
all
it.
about architecture, so I look at a lot, and it's mostly brutalist architecture. And there's a good amount of asymmetry in it too, but there's a really strong amount of symmetry in it.
Yeah, I remember you
Yeah.
talking about that in class. How a lot of your work is like almost wholly symmetrical.
Yeah.
I feel like brutalism, there's a lot of contrast as well, and these are very high contrast images.
Yeah. As an aside, I was in Albany last summer, and I could have spent like 2 days in that plaza. It's there with all those different buildings. So cool, all that concrete. One of my skateboard, and I have a skateboard. This one has me stumped. Oh, it's in the central V-shaped thing to me looks like the Spy versus Spy. The one, you know.
Yeah, with the houses that extend all the way out.
Yeah. Weird. That looks like I'm looking at, it's almost like the arch, like Washington Square Park. I'm looking at garbage in front of the arch. Oh, that's split 2 ways. That's crazy. I don't know. This it could be like wings on a moth. Something like it. This looks more animal to me than anything. That's super big. Yeah, this looks like 2 rabbits that are looking into the distance together. This looks like a couple of potato people seated at a table with a chandelier hanging overhead and drapes with light coming in from each side.
When you say like potato people, it's just like they're sort of like rounded people.
Yeah, no, they're like potatoes that would be people.
So like Mr. Potato Head kind
Yeah,
of.
kinda.
Yeah.
With the two eyes. Yeah,
I see.
you don't have to.
No, I did. I did.
And I never did these at a psychologist's office before. Nobody's ever sat down and said, "Hey, what does this look like?"
First time for everything.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people come out of this and say that it was sort of like a therapy appointment.
Oh.
One way or another.
This makes me realize how easily manipulated this whole thing makes me realize how easily manipulated I am, because every time someone says something, I'm like, I see it, I get it.
Yeah.
Yep, I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. This looks like a, I don't know what this looks like. Almost looks like a scan, like a internal organ scan. There's all those voids that look vascular. Oh, it's really similar to the last one. Although this one looks like a disgruntled alien.
Yeah. That was the last image in that slideshow.
Oh.
We're gonna go on. We're gonna break the
Immersion
immersion.
a little bit.
And,
Oh, okay.
It's
go
Google
it.
Slides, don't look.
Whoa.
The man behind the curtain.
No. But these images, it's gonna be the same thing. These images are just produced in a different manner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we can continue with what we're doing now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this looks like a black and white Klimt painting, almost. Although mixed with, oh god, what is, yeah, something like that. I just clicked through with these two.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's a cool image. That's really neat. This looks like if H.R. Geiger was to do a wood carving behind the pulpit in some church. That's what I think that would look like. It looks like a boat is coming up out of the water into some new world. This looks like an elaborate stage. Some yeah, I'm trying to think of the architectural style. It's almost like a gaudy kind of how, looks like you could squeeze it almost. It's just like a soft edge as opposed to a hard edge, but it looks like Gaudi designed a stage. That looks like almost a beheaded emperor or something like that. Head got picked off of, because I see shoulders and an implication of a neck and a head kind of floating above. It looks like that it was just pulled off. Something went terribly wrong.
Or maybe something went terribly right for everybody else.
Yeah, or maybe it's getting plugged on.
Oh.
Maybe there's different heads that can go on. Ooh. That looks like a close-up of like some spider's head. With all the eyes. Furry, definitely furry. This This is looking like somebody in a cape with outstretched arms worshiping at some altar, which is in the background. The person with the cape is in the foreground. That looks like I'm in a stairwell in like a medieval castle or something that would have a window that converges, like a lighthouse or something that would have a converging window, or like a 15th century, no window, no glass, but just I'm looking out, so I'm in something looking out into, if that makes sense. That again looks like some sort of moth, like wings on a moth pattern. I mean, a lot of these could be, but it looks fuzzy to me. Looks like it would be soft. This to me looks like some aliens, like alien organs. Like I'm looking from the back of an alien, and there's I'm seeing anus, testicles, vulva, seeing all-inclusive alien from behind.
That image is probably one of the ones that gets the most different answers.
Oh, okay.
But I always see a woman bending over in that one with all sorts of bodily parts as well.
Yeah, kind of hanging. And this could also be a reclining figure that I'm looking, like the knees would be at the bottom of the screen, chest and shoulders would be up here, and that's the pubic area of a ambiguous, androgynous, I guess, person. This to me looks like a nightmare scene that I've had before, with fields receding and there's two architectural features on either side, but then it kind of, there's something hovering up top that's going to destroy everything. I mean, the obvious is just a kind of a prone figure. Not getting much out of that one.
That was the last image in that slideshow.
Okay.
So now Silas is going to begin to make images. Yeah, and you will just rapid fire.
Okay.
Say what you're seeing. Sometimes it takes a second to get into.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Should I react any time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
just-
now.
Oh,
Whenever
okay.
it comes
Sorry
out.
about that.
Yeah, no. That's looking like a swimming tortoise to me. Ooh. Yeah, these are looking not like anything specific, but like introductions to, I don't know if you ever watched any sort of like 60s and 70s like Ultraman or Johnny Sokko and his flying robot, anything like that. Like,
I'm a big Johnny Sokko fan.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to be Johnny Sokko.
How could you not?
I know. This looks like this looks like a spirograph that I had when I was a kid. Drawing pictures with the spirograph. It's pulsating.
What is
Just
a
a little-
spirograph?
It's a very symmetric way that you can draw. You have a circle frame that has teeth, and then you have different size circles that you stick a pin in, and you can like it circles around the outside. And, yeah, these are like doomsday kind of things. I'm seeing definitely like mushroom cloud kind of looking things. They're looking like brain scans too, like MRI slices. It's looking like some hippie dorm room.
Okay. That'll be all for this portion
Yeah.
of the visual portion of vague
Yeah.
questions. Sal's is just gonna make a quick like cable change, and then we're gonna get into vague questions themselves. Which, like I said before, me and Sal's will leave the room. It'll just be you along with the questions. You can take as much or as little time as you like on the questions. Just try to like the Rorschach test, how that sort of fills in. Where like, what do you see here in the question? What do you like? What topic comes up
Okay.
with it?
Okay.
So whatever topic or memory you'd like to talk about, whatever comes to your mind first, or maybe second if don't particularly want to talk about a certain thing. But yeah. Okay. Don't look at the slideshow.
Okay.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just. It's our unprofessional aspect.
It's the one thing I can't see. Oh, there we go.
Where do you guys get all the TVs?
I am a big collector. I've like always just been. I have a knack for finding things. Like my grandparents and stuff are very good at finding. Like generationally, like my grandpa and my dad are very good at finding bicycles because that's their sort of special interest. They'll just find them on the side of the road. My grandpa's garage is full of bikes. My interest is TVs, and I just similarly have that woodlarking. Like I'll see one on the side of the road. I ride my bike a lot, so I'll see it there, and then like mark down, or like I'm known for having TVs now, so people will be like hit me up and be like, Silas, I saw a TV on the side of the road, and I said where, and they'll tell me. Oh gosh, it's always so weird taking the headphones off because it's monitoring the microphone.
Oh.
So it's I get the sense of like the whole building auditorially, and then I come back to having a range of like within the room.
All right.
Let me move this over.
Do you want to do
Yeah,
the test quick?
click to see that it's on the right thing. Oh, I do need to move that. Adjust that.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, went down more. Touchy.
Okay. Alright.
Cool. Alrighty.
And I can just advance them like I did.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very
Cool.
autodidactic,
Yeah,
just
well,
like as you're. Oh, it gets warm.
It is getting warm in here. We'll either just be on the we'll be downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, so just come and get us when you're done.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, I will. What world do you live in? I live in a world, I guess, that I like to think I live in a good world. I live in a world where I have some control, but I realize that I live in a world where I have pretty much zero control. And that's kind of a tough thing to swallow, I think, is when you realize that we don't have much control over the world we live in. And I think this is the only world that there is. for me to live in, that I will live in. So, you know, I try to make the best of it, and yeah, I treat people how I hope to be treated, and that's I guess that's the world I live in. Who cares? Exactly. Who cares? That's an interesting one. I mean, I think I care, and I actually do think most people care. What they care about is something that is kind of beyond me. You know, people seem to care about. I guess it comes down to like what we care about, because I think everyone cares. So what does everyone care about? And I think, you know, most people. I always go back to like Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, where, you know, shelter and safety is the basis of that pyramid. And I think, you know, who cares and how deeply they care is dependent upon how secure they are. You know, food security, housing security, financial security. It's a lot easier to care when those needs, when your basic needs are met. And so who cares? You know, I honestly think people who are without financial stability specifically are people who care the most, care about other people, care about their loved ones especially. Maybe not necessarily care about the world around them, but then that's, you know, I think that's a privilege. Anyway, that's a different question possibly, but who cares? I care, and I think that most people do care. When did it happen? That is a vague question. When did it happen? I think for me it happened when I started to question things. So for me, that happened when I was in high school. And it's one of those things like what happened? Well, I think about that time is when I started to think independently. And I wasn't so influenced by everybody and everything around me. So when did it happen was probably in high school and in college. You know, that's when it happened, and it meaning just shaping who I am now. So yeah, for me, that's when did it happen? Now, what happened? That's a whole other story. But when did it happen? Let's go to the next one. What do you like about them? I would say. So what do I like about them? So with this question, I guess I immediately think I'm taking them as a personal pronoun, and I'll take that to mean my wife. And what I like about them is that Amy is one of the most interesting people I've ever met. I never really 100% know what an answer is going to be to a question I might have for her, and I like that a lot. I like that she's one of the most caring people that I've ever met, and that there's just a great deal of empathy for everybody around her. And so and then I guess it could also mean, what do I like about them, meaning my family? What do I like about my son and my wife is that they are just they kind of complete me, I think, as a person. They complement me, they fill in where I have a lot of losses or I need filling in. They call me out on my bullshit, and that is what I like about them. Did you get there in time? You know, I think that's going to be possibly an end-of-life question for me and for most artists. Did you get there in time? Time meaning the end, when I die, and getting there meaning, did I actually make something? I'm an object maker, and so to me I'm taking this as, did I actually make something that I was completely satisfied with by the time I died? And then, you know, did I get there in time? Did I get there before and I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that's gonna be. I hope I will. You know, there's just so much, there's so much indecision about everything and how to get there. And will I get there? I don't know. And anytime I make a new object, all I can see are the faults in it, and I don't really, but that's what keeps me pushing forward and keeping me wanting to keep making and wanting to get there. You know, getting there to me is actually like self-fulfillment or self-actualization. And just to dumb it down, just to make something that I don't see fault with. It's never happened. I've liked some things I've made. I got there a little bit, but I'm not going to get there immediately. It does take time, and that's a tough thing, right? Let's see what this next one is. Why did you say yes? Because saying no is the end. Once you say no, that is the absolute end to that conversation. If you actually have the power to say no and have that be the end, then that's it. You know, saying yes is one of the pieces of advice I give to any person out there, and especially any art student who's trying to get somewhere, is that, you know, you got to say yes to everything. You know, if you're asked to, you know, like I said yes to be part of this project because I thought it was really cool. You know, I like Nick as a person. I think he's an interesting person, so that's one of the reasons I said yes to this experience. Because even if I got here, I could have said, you know, no, I'm not comfortable with this or something like that. But if I said no immediately, I would have never have gotten to see what this was all about. So I think that's really cool. So I try to say yes to as many opportunities as I possibly can. When I was 28, when I was finishing up graduate school, my professor asked me if I wanted to go to Japan with her for 2 months and be her assistant. And I said yes to that because I had never been off the east coast of the U.S. in my life, and I just didn't have any money to do anything like that. And when she offered that this would be a fully paid for trip, I would actually get paid. I just said yes immediately, and it's one of those pivotal points. I think when you say yes to things, for better or for worse, you're going to remember that decision the rest of your life. So that's why I think it's so important to say yes to things. So once you say no, you're closing yourself off, and the conversation's done. But saying yes, you get to go to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And I don't think many people get many places by saying no. I think most of the places you're going to get positive or sometimes negative, but mostly positive in your life are going to be from saying yes. Were you there for them? Oh boy, yeah. This is a tough one. Were you there for them? I think I've tried to be there for people, but I've of course not been there for people. I've I've had experiences where, I mean, where I physically could not be there for them. So when my grandmother died, I don't think being there would have been a great thing for either of us. But she was one of the most important people in my entire life. And I think I was there for her. But I'm not 100% sure. I think she felt like that was enough, what we did, what we experienced, what we had before she died. So hopefully, was I there for them? Was I there for my family? I think so. I try to be. It's one of my biggest faults, though, of not being there for people sometimes. And I think that's like, my perception of me being there for somebody is also not their perception of, possibly it's not the same reality. You know, they might think I was not there for them, and I think I was, or vice versa. I try to be there for people. I say I want to be there for people. I just don't know if I'm going to be there for people. That is a tough one. Why did you do it? That is a big one. Why did I do it? Why did I do it? You know, mostly I did it because I wanted to. You know, that might sound narcissistic, it might sound completely self-involved, but I did it because I think it benefited me in some way. I guess there's two ways to go with this. And the more I guess I think about this is that I do things because of two things, and I don't know if this is universal, but either it's going to benefit me or it's going to benefit someone else. And so if it's going to benefit someone else, and it's a selfless, an actual selfless act, I like to think I have done those things during my life. Like, why did I, protesting in the 80s and getting arrested protesting outside of like Shell Oil and the Morton Thiokol plant and in DC, I thought it was helping helping humanity in just saying no, we should not keep on building up weapon stockpiles, or why do I share other artists' work on just something as stupid as like sharing other artists' work on my Instagram feed? Is because I believe in other people, and I like to think that helps somebody other than me. Other things I do completely for myself. Becoming an artist is I think, a pretty narcissistic thing to do. Thinking that I have something to say that's going to benefit somebody else. Like recording this, I don't know where this is going to go, but so some things I do just because they're going to benefit me, and I don't really, know what that is. Yeah, I'm just thinking about just tattoos. Why I do this is because I want to feel comfortable about the skin that I'm living in, and I can choose to do things to alter that. And I can feel comfortable then, and I can cover up scars from past experiences physically, and feel comfortable just about who I am and why I am and what I am. Why did you do it? That's a tough one. Are you okay? This is a question that I ask a lot, and I should ask more, I think. But I do ask this question a lot of my family, of my friends. I kind of wish people would ask it of me a little bit more often, if I'm okay. And right now I am okay. I could possibly use a little more help, but right now I'm okay. What did you offer? What did you offer? I guess when I think about this question, I think I'm going to see this as like a life thing, like looking back, what did I offer? And I'm hoping that I offered insight into what I do, maybe not necessarily who I am and what I think, like about the world, but when I think as an artist, what did I offer? I think I offered a lot of answers to questions. I always answer questions that I'm asked online, on social media, and I think I'm offering answers to people's possibly technical questions that are going to help them to uncover things about themselves that will lead them to be making better work in their own studios. So hopefully what I'm offering is just is just some help, some basic help. Also just some affirmation that somebody is doing something that's worthy. I get those questions once in a while too, like, or just maybe not even a question, but just like a statement of like, I don't think my work is achieving what I want it to do. And that's like a statement, like one of these things. And all I can offer that person is just like affirmation that what you're doing is going somewhere. It might not be going where you think it's going or where you want it to go, but what I can offer them is just, a reinforcement that their voice matters. Their voice might not be as clear at that moment as they want it to be, but you're only as good as you can possibly be that day. You need to put in the time and the work, and you need to surround yourself with people that can answer questions for you. They can also call out bullshit when they see it. And so I think that's kind of what what did you offer? I think hopefully I offered help. Yeah, that's a tough one. All these are tough. Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Boy, this is the most vague one yet. Who are they? Who are they? Yeah, they are always them, right? That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say. So who are they? They are just people, just like me and you. They get listened to, sometimes more than we get listened to. They are always that step away, right? That arm's length away. We keep them at they, because they have not become us yet. So they are possibility. That's what I think, they. Who are they? They are possibility. And again, they have not become us. They are still them. They're an arm's length away. They're out there We might not even know who they are yet. We may never know who they are. They may never introduce themselves into our lives in any meaningful way. They might always just be a meme. You know, that's who they are. Are you sorry for what you did? Ah, am I sorry for what I did? Now this has been asked of me, and I think I've also said this as well. You know, sorry for what I did. I think that I am sorry for what I did. I'm more sorry for not recognizing it at the time that it was a problem and it could have harmed somebody. Sometimes I'm not sorry for what I did, and sometimes I am. I think this is a two-way. Again, a two-way. I'm sorry for what I did. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I am. Recently, well, a couple of years ago, I called out somebody online in public in a way I shouldn't have. And recently I got to apologize. I did apologize eventually. It took me about a year to apologize, to realize that I was wrong in the way that I said what I said. What I said wasn't wrong, but I should have handled it completely differently. And so when I did get to see this person recently, I was able to apologize and tell them that I was sorry for how it went down. Definitely how it went down. Didn't treat them with respect. So, and when I'm asking it, are you sorry for what you did? I think I've only ever asked that of a couple people in my life. And that's an odd one. I mean, usually people are offering up this information, right? They're going to tell you that they're sorry because they kind of realize it. If you have to ask somebody, are you sorry for what you did, then they probably are a narcissist. They don't think that anything is ever wrong that they could do. And this sounds like a real parent question, you know, that I might have, maybe I asked this of my kid when he was like, I don't know. No, I don't know if I've ever asked that of him. Yeah, anyway. Is this it? I think this is it. To me, this is it. I'm an atheist. I think that this is, that we're here in these bodies on this earth for a limited amount of time, and this is it. This is it. This is what happens. You don't get a do-over. You're not going to be reborn as like a fucking bug because I did something wrong, or I'm not going to be reborn in some other body, in some other situation. I don't believe in accumulated knowledge and rebirth in people. So to me, yeah, this is it. This is it, and that's why I try to live with as few regrets as possible. Of course, we all have regrets, but yeah, to me, this is it. What do you see? What do I see? I guess, what do I see? What I see on any given day, I see a couple different things. I see hope, and I see pain. And it's that question of what do you do about what you see? And it's hard to, like, what do I see? I see pain and suffering all around. And I can only, like, for me, I can talk about that, but that seems to be my power that I have is in talking about things with, especially with students. So what I see is a world that's just in fucking chaos. It's ruled by a bunch of, I don't know, small dick men who are trying to continually push forward their agenda. I seem to see things that, half the country sees, half this country doesn't see. See war, poverty, famine, death, destruction. And it's difficult to deal with sometimes, but actually it's difficult to deal with all the time. What I see, even when I teach. So, I see all these things on a global scale, but it's not really going to affect me directly until it hits home, with either family or friends or where I teach. And it's a lot for me, it's where I teach. And to get to see my students in an act of self-discovery is so good. It takes away all me seeing all the pain and suffering. So what one of the motivators for me wanting to teach is that I get to see people in moments of self-discovery. To get to see them, I get to watch their personal growth. I get to watch them realize who they are, realize what they're possible of, what they're capable of. I also get to see them be very vulnerable and very honest with me and with themselves. And the most important thing is that honesty with themselves. So, when I see something like that, it really helps me get through the days. It helps to make me want to live another day, to push myself forward another day. What do you like about it? It. What is it? What do you like about it? Yeah, that's a question I ask a lot. If a student says that they like something, that's my immediate, rebuttal or retort is, well, what do you like about it? And hopefully they have a reason. So what I like about some things are aesthetic. What I like about some things are taste. What do you like about it? So let's talk about, I guess, what do I like about it. One thing I like about art and about being an artist is that I grew up being an athlete. Not a very good athlete, but a middling athlete. And I think I'm better at the art stuff than I was or am as an athlete. But one thing I like about art is the competition in it. I see it as almost a competitive act. Some days you're competing against yourself, and winning or losing that battle in your own head. I make 3D work, so in three-dimensional space, I'm winning or I'm losing in my head. But I always want to be doing better. Okay, so that the competition I try to turn. I'm not competing against other people like an athlete does. I'm competing against myself. And that's one thing that I do really, really like about being an artist, you know. And then going back to that other question of like, you know, did you get there, something to that effect. You know, it's this constant internal struggle that you're having with yourself, and I do, you know, something really inside me just really, really likes that. You know, so I really like the competition, internal competition within myself of being an artist, trying to be better, trying to do better, trying to make things better, and striving to this like stupid goal. In our own minds, you know, we think we know what our artwork is supposed to look like, and it's trying to get there, right? And so that competition makes me want to do that. Did you do a good job? Yeah, I try to do a good job. Did I do a good job? Honestly, I not to sound self-centered, but I do think I did a good job. Did I do a great job? No. Did I do a good job? Yeah. Good implies that there's still room to do better. So did I do a great job? I would be answering that question or that prompt a lot differently. Did I do a good job? I think I did a good job. I hope. As a teacher, it's hard to tell if you did a good job. Most of my students are not art majors. So me doing a good job for a non-art major in ceramics is just having that student feel like they are seen, feel like they are heard, feel like they're safe enough in a classroom to be vulnerable and make good work that's about them on some level. I feel like I did a good job as a teacher if I'm creating that environment, that teaching environment, where they feel safe to actually speak their mind, and know that they're respected by me, by at least me. And so doing a good job, hopefully I did a good job at being a teacher so far. I got some years left in me. I don't do a good job necessarily on a daily basis, but yeah. Now I worked at a coffee shop when I moved to Buffalo, and I would like to have a do-over on that time in my life. I was very frustrated and angry when I was in my late 20s and early 30s until my son was born. And so I did not do a good job at dealing with those people at the coffee shop, my coworkers, my peers. I did not do a good job in dealing with people. I'd like to have a do-over so I can do a better job. Yeah. I was just a dick sometimes, you know, and to people who didn't deserve it, to people, you know, I've since learned that if somebody's having a bad day and I don't realize that, and I don't recognize that in them, and I react a certain way, they don't deserve that. You know, they didn't deserve me being an asshole to them when they were having a bad, shitty day. So, anyway, yeah, I'd like to have a do-over on the coffee shop job. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I guess what I do is I just try to be a better person every day. I think that's what I try to do. I try to treat people with respect and dignity. I try to be a good partner to my wife. I try to be a good father to my son. And I guess what I do mostly is I try to be, again, I try to be better than I was the day before. And I know that seems kind of silly, but it's an incremental, just make incremental changes to what you do. I try to learn about myself, and in learning about myself, hopefully I'm learning how I can be a better person in this world. Yes, that's about what do you do? Yeah. Are you different? Of course I'm different. I'm a very special flower, unlike anyone else in the world. Am I different? I mean, I think every artist is different. I think we see things different. I think we pay attention to things other people don't pay attention to. But also I have the privilege to have a studio oh. Hey guys, I'm not done, but I think the VCR tape cut off.
Oh, thank you so much.
I have a lot of important things to say that need to be recorded.
I would way rather, because I think one person, that happened as well for, you heard it rewinding?
No, I heard it shut off.
Oh, okay.
We still have the VCR. Because I still have some good videotapes.
May and Dylan did it in February.
Oh, cool.
They talked for 3 hours,
Oh, wow.
and they didn't notice it.
Were they together?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that happening.
Yeah. 3 hours.
Yeah, it was my first time experiencing their sort of energy, and then I was rewatching the tape, and I was like, man, this is like 3 hours of pure shtick, too. Like, they go back and forth. It's crazy. Okay, should be going again.
Energy.
Boundless.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so are you different? I don't know where that last tape cut off, but I was saying that I think that artists are different in general, and so yeah, therefore I do think I'm different, different than other people. I think in a different way than other people think, maybe. I don't know, but then I'm the same. I'm exactly the same as a lot of artists I know. We kind of all are questioning things all the time. We're continually questioning things. We're questioning ourselves, our environments, our purpose. And so I don't think most people are questioning they're questioning their own identity or their own personas or their own things that they make, because most people don't get to make things. I'm privileged in the way that I can be different. I've set my life up that way, that being different and not needing things that other people need, and being able to live without money other people are not able to live without, does kind of make you different. It sets things up so you can be different, because you don't need to have for me, I don't need to have a full-time job to do what I want to do, and that helps me lead this different life. My wife's on board with that. Most of the time she's on board with that. But we see the world in a very similar way. So I found somebody who I can be different with. And I think that that's super cool, that that's super important for people to do. And but I think being different too is also a privilege. I don't take that lightly. To be able to go to a studio and make things to sell that nobody really needs, that are all like self-involved, like me trying to just make things that I think are cool, but also help me kind of deal with just like getting this shit out of my head so I don't go crazy. I don't know how people sit at a desk like 9 to 5 every day. I couldn't deal with that. But some people can. Some people. Anyway, I don't want to talk about some people. So, am I different? Yeah, I think that I am different in a lot of ways, and I think I'm very similar to most people in a lot of ways too. I think it's like 51% different, 49% the same as every other asshole out there. What's the point? Yeah, what is the point? I think I'll just go back to the point is just doing no harm. That's the biggest point to me. Do no harm. Like, you're gonna have to live with yourself. I'm gonna have to live with myself and the decisions I make, right? But all I want at the end of the day is just to not negatively affect somebody with those decisions that I'm making. And, to me, that's kind of the point, is to not, to just not fuck anybody else up. If I'm fucking myself up, that's one thing. If that's affecting someone else in a negative way, then that's wrong. So that's the point to me, is just, yeah. Like that, what is that camping saying? Like, leave it better than you found it, or something like that. And that's what I'm trying to do in my life, is just leave it better than I found it. And it can be another human being, it can be the world, it can be just my local community, So that's the point to me. What do you think why do you think the way that you do? I don't know. I mean, I guess from like an early age. So, everything, it all goes back to your childhood. And I think that, I've dealt with a lot of stuff that's happened in my childhood. I haven't dealt with a lot of stuff in my childhood. But that's why I think the way that I do. It's the way that I treat people is kind of a reaction to the way that I was treated as a kid. And the way that I think is sometimes just like the opposite of what my fucking parents thought. Like I think it goes that far back, it goes that deep, that this is a big, big question to dig into. Like, why do you think the way that you do? Part of it is just being like a pissed off punk rock kid when I was, looking for an outlet when I was 17 years old, 18 years old, and found punk rock, started to go to shows, and I saw what people were doing, and I could see you can get out aggression in a positive, well, maybe not a positive way, but you can get out your aggression without the fear of like getting arrested going to a show. And then you get to talk to people, and you get to hear these different ways that people think, and you know, and they weren't these like right-wing racist ways of thinking. They were progressive, anarchists, and then I filtered all that into what I believe now. I guess. You know, everything that's happened to us in our entire lives up until like now and today affects the way that we think. And so, you know, why I think the way that I do is just, yeah, I don't know if that made any fucking sense. But who are you? Oh, this is like the question they asked in the Breakfast Club, right? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I'm not who you think, and I am who you think. I'm just another fucking asshole, just trying to get by. Just another narcissistic artist. That's who I am. I'm also somebody who cares deeply about a lot of different things and will play off most of those things with a joke. But yeah, that's who I am. What would you like? I would like a hot fudge sundae. That's the one thing I was thinking about today. I would like a hot fudge sundae. What would I like beyond the hot fudge sundae? Well, I'm all about immediate gratification, but that's pretty much what I would like is a hot fudge sundae. I'd also like to see, world peace like most people. I'd like to see the color orange be everyone's favorite color. I'd like to see my son be a successful man. Are you pissed? Of course I'm pissed. If you're not fucking pissed, you're not paying attention. We're all pissed. Are you pissed? Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm pissed at a lot of things. It's just too long of a fucking list. I'm pissed about like oppression of people. Let's just talk about where we live. Am I pissed? Yeah, I'm pissed off where I teach because I can't get things I want for my students. I can't get a bigger classroom. I'm pissed about just the current world situation that we have. I'm pissed that people won't get along. I'm pissed that people say one thing and do another. That they're fucking hypocrites. And I can't really do anything about it. Part of the reason I'm pissed about so many things is I can't do anything about them. I think the things that I am pissed about that I can do something about, I'm less pissed about. So if I can curate a show that has representation of the community that I'm part of in every way, then I can be less pissed because I'm doing something to change something. I'm mostly pissed about shit that I can't do anything about, but yeah, I'm pissed. If you're not pissed off, you're not paying attention. Are you scared? I'm scared I'm not scared myself. I'm more pissed than scared. At first I thought I said, are you scarred? And yeah, I'm deeply fucking scarred. I think we're all pretty deeply scarred. Are you scared? I try not to be scared. I'm not scared about most things. I think I'm more scared about living than dying. I'm scared about my reactions to things and how they're going to affect people. I'm scared for my son, that he's going to live in this world that's just getting shittier and shittier. Yeah, I'm just scared. I am scared. What? It just says what? Question mark. What? Yeah, I don't know where to go with that one. What is the right thing to do? That is the big question. You're all asking a lot of big questions here. What's the right thing to do? I don't know. On any given day, the right thing to do is going to be like usually, the right thing to do, I think, is usually the easiest thing to do, because if it's the right thing to do, then at the end of the day, you're going to feel good about doing it. It might be a difficult decision, but the right thing to do it's not always the easiest thing to do. So I'm a contradiction. I'm just going to contradict myself for most of these things, aren't I? The right thing to do is situational, I guess. But I think the most right thing to do is just to treat people how you want them to treat you. That to me is the right thing to do. Are you there? Are you there? Didn't I answer this one? Are you there? I think I'm there. I try to be there. I'm going to take there to be, am I present? Are you present? I try to be. I try to be present. I think it's difficult for me sometimes. And I'm not sure if I'm there. I'm trying to be there. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to be where I want to be. But I try to be present in the moment as much as possible. I mean, I get lost. All of us get lost sometimes, right? But am I there? I'm getting there. And again, like I said before, I'd like to get there before I die. So, why not? Question mark. Well, exactly. Why not? Why not? I think that a lot of my life has been questioning just the question why. I guess why not is a similar. That's what I ask myself in the studio all the time, is why not? Like you go along, you plod along, and it's always, and I guess why not is coupled with the question what if, in my mind anyway. So when will it come true? I don't know when it's going to come true. I don't know if it'll ever come true. I mean, I didn't have any aspirations of living past the age of 30. Just with the people I was hanging out with and the stuff we were doing when I was in my early teens, early 20s, doing some awful shit and taking a lot of risks, and so to me it's already come true. Like this is it. I feel like it's every day is just like gravy, you know? So it's kind of already come true. Kind of already come true. What's different? That's an interesting one. I don't know what's different. Now we're gonna skip that one. Why did you say no? So, I always think about this one. When I was, oh God, what was I, 12? 12 or 13, and these two guys I knew, I think it was 8th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade. These two guys I knew, anyway, they said that they were gonna get some pot, and we were gonna get high after school. And I didn't go, okay, and get high with them that day. They got high, and within 2 years, these two guys were getting high all the time, getting into harder and harder drugs. I don't know where they ended up. Neither of them graduated high school. Yeah, so I don't know what happened, and I think, why did I say no to that experience? I mean, I said yes later, like, most of us did, but I didn't actually say no, but my actions said no. So I didn't go get high, and I kind of feel like I'm here today because I said no, and I didn't go get high with those two guys. So that's one of those weird ones I haven't thought about in a long fucking time. Do you see it working out? Yes. Yes, for the most part, I see it working out. But then we can't see what we can't see. And I think, none of us can see the future. So actually, do I see it working out? For me, I see it working out. Yes, I see it working out for me. For the world, no, I don't see it working out. I think this world's a shit show, and that, things are not going to work out unless we have some drastic change in people who are in power. And as long as profit is ahead of people, shit isn't going to work out. But for me, on a day-to-day basis, and I'll be dead in like 40 years. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to really change before then, so I'll be okay. I'm trying to make the world a little bit better, leave it better than how I found it. We'll see. I don't know. Who? You. That's who. You. Are you here? Yes. Yes, I'm here. I feel like I'm here. Most days I feel like I'm here. I do have had days where I feel like I'm not here. I feel like I am talking and no one is listening, nobody's paying attention. And I think that any dreams I ever have that I wake up super stressed out, that's because they can't hear, I can't make them hear me. So I'm not here. And I think that's one of the biggest fears I have. And I think that's why people for millennia have put their handprints on a cave wall, have tagged things like, or done graffiti on a train, or just tagged a sign, or, a bathroom to let somebody know that they were there. So am I here? I'm here. I'm trying to be here. I'm trying to make my mark. How long until then? I don't know how long until then. Why did you stop? Why did I stop? This just makes me think about why I stopped making sculpture as an artist, and I stopped because I had a conversation with somebody, and they basically told me they didn't think I had it in me to do both like vessels, like utilitarian vessels, and abstract sculpture, or figurative sculpture simultaneously. And so the advice was to choose one. If I want to be great at one, and I do want to be great at one, to choose. And so I did, and so I chose the vessel. I chose utilitarian pottery, and I chose vessel, the vessel format as the overarching thing. And so I stopped because I thought about it for more than a minute. Yeah. When? The question is when. I would say now. I would say the present. I would say we need to live in the present. We need to think about the future, consider the past, but we need to live in the now, man. Live in the now. Was it wise? I guess, what does wise mean? Was it wise? Probably not. Probably not. No, it was. Was it wise? I just, was it wise? I guess I'm thinking about decision making, and I think I've been like 60-40 in wise decisions, like 60% of the time. I think I've made good choices. 40% of the time, I think I've made bad choices. It's getting better as I'm getting older, mostly because I'm having less choices to make. You know, was it wise? Yeah, you know, I guess when I think about this, I stopped drinking, and that was a wise choice, because I was just it was not allowing me to do things I wanted to do. It was getting in my way. So it was wise for me to stop doing drugs, especially hard drugs, but then even smoking pot. And then it was wise for me to quit alcohol, although I have a beer now and then, and I love that. And that's a wise choice, because I can enjoy life and I can be in control of myself. Oh, cool. That's it. Okay. Now I'm done. Good. Good. Yeah. I don't like talking about myself so much.
Right.
That's why I'm not so good at therapy.
No, I